On Saturday, we saw the Monaco E-Prix take place, but a lot of people's attention had been captured earlier on in the week by the brand new striking Generation 3 car that will be used in the Formula E Championship starting next season. The car has been designed to be better performing and more efficient than the current Gen 2 car, and has been described by the FIA and Formula E themselves as the first ever racing car designed and optimised for racing on street circuits. My name is Luke Etheridge, and I'm going to take a look at some of the features that will be prominent on this new car. Don't forget, if you enjoy this video, to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started with the bit of the car everyone was talking about, the bodywork. I think different is probably the nicest way to describe what this new Gen 3 car looks like. It is very visually striking, it's a lot more aggressive than the previous generation of cars, and a lot of people, myself included, have described it as looking a bit like a paper aeroplane. It's definitely different to anything we've seen before. But that's what Formula E is all about at the end of the day. It does keep similar front and rear wings to what we saw on the Gen 2 car, and also brings the open wheels that we were meant to see on the Gen 2 Evo car, which of course never happened due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this Gen 2 Evo car was meant to encourage the drivers to be a bit more careful when they were racing. The bodywork was designed to be a bit more fragile and cost the drivers more time if they bumped into each other. So it'll be intriguing to see whether this Gen 3 car also does the same thing. It is actually shorter, less wide, and lighter than the previous generation of cars, bucking a trend that we've seen in a lot of motorsport series, Formula 1 included, where cars tend to get bigger and heavier due to safety regulations over the years. We've already mentioned that the cars are going to be lighter, about 80 kilograms. In fact, most of this down to having smaller batteries. They're also going to be a lot more powerful. The new rear powertrain on the Formula E car is going to generate 350 kilowatts versus 250 kilowatts that they currently have now. We'll probably only see this in qualifying and attack mode, maybe fan boost as well. What this does mean is they have the potential to be the fastest Formula E cars yet, reaching top speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. Given the fact that they race on very twisty and narrow street circuits though, I don't think we're going to see them get to that 200 miles per hour. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If these cars are faster than the previous ones, but they've also got smaller batteries, it means the races are either going to have to be a lot shorter, or there's going to have to be a lot more regeneration. As we've already mentioned, the current Formula E cars have 250 kilowatts of power on the rear axle, and they can regenerate this back into the battery. This 1-to-1 relationship will be kept on the rear for the Gen 3 cars, 350 kilowatts of power going to the wheels, and 350 kilowatts regenerating back into the battery during braking or deceleration. However, the new Generation 3 Formula E cars will also have motors on the front. These will not be used to make the cars four-wheel drive. They are only used to provide an extra 250 kilowatts of regenerative power, meaning 600 kilowatts in total, more than double what they've got at the moment. This is a massive amount. Formula E are predicting themselves that about 45% of all the energy that the drivers used in the race will be regenerated back into the battery, making them more efficient. In fact, this regeneration capacity is going to be so big, there's going to be no rear brakes on the Formula E car, helping also with the environmental concerns that sometimes come about with brake dust and just reducing that weight a tiny bit more. It's going to be intriguing to see how the drivers cope with the handling changes. At the start of the race, they're going to have practically full batteries, won't be able to regenerate as much, and of course during the race, they'll be regenerating more and more, heating up the batteries, so the motors might not be able to charge the batteries quite as much, and therefore they're going to be losing braking power. It's going to be a very interesting challenge, I think, for the teams to get used to, certainly in the first season. Now, 600 kilowatts is a ridiculously fast charging rate. We're talking about 85 times faster than the charging wall boxes that you can get on your home here in the UK. It's also more than double the speed of the fastest charging electric car that is available for consumers to buy at the moment, the Porsche Taycan. They can also get this not just through regeneration, but also through the old-fashioned way, through plugging a cable in. And this leads to the possibility of mid-race pit stops to be introduced back into Formula E. We saw them in Gen 1 where the drivers had to change cars halfway through, and it definitely led to some interesting strategical battles. And I wonder if they could return in Gen 3. Do you go for it a bit more in the race, push that tiny bit harder, knowing that when you come into the pits, you might have to spend an extra second or two charging the car? Or do you save the energy, try to charge the car less in the pit stops, but know you're going to need more regen and be a tiny bit slower out on track? And it just adds that extra bit of strategical element to the races. And I do think it is this charging rate that is probably the most important thing for Formula E to get right. If they can prove that charging at these sorts of speeds, even if it's not too often, is safe and reliable and can somehow be made affordable for the general public and for installers of electric car chargers, this would be massive. This would revolutionise electric cars. The main complaint everyone has about electric cars is how long they take to charge. If it only took 5 to 10 minutes to go from practically empty to practically full, that complaint disappears. Personally, I am massively excited for this new era of Formula E. The technology in the cars is astounding and could really be a game changer for electric vehicles worldwide. And it is going to be that regeneration that could hold the key to the championship. If a team masters it better than everyone else, if a driver can adapt their driving style the best, they could well run away with the championship. They're going to be faster, they're going to be lighter, they're going to be brilliant around street circuits, but I wish we were getting to see them on a proper track as well. Why does it always have to be street circuits? I really enjoyed the race at Ricardo Tormo the other year during COVID. It'd be great to see these cars on a proper track to really test what they could do. Speaking of testing, it's going to be a few shakedowns in the next couple of months for all of the teams that will be receiving their cars. There will be some official pre-season testing. We're expecting the first Formula E race either to be late December or early January in Saudi Arabia. Well, that is it then for this video. Let me know what you think of the new car. Is there any aspect in particular you are looking forward to? And where do you see Formula E going in the future? Not just with the technology, but as a series in general. Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you next time around. Goodbye.